All right, so Tesla and robots, huh? That's got to be a recipe for some wild headlines. Let's dive into this whole Optimus thing.
Definitely wild.
This Economic Times article is really hyping it up, revolutionizing the world, being our buddies. I mean, come on, robots making my morning coffee. Is that really just around the corner?
Well, it's easy to get swept up in the hype for sure. But the article does mention Optimus serving drinks at that recent Tesla event.
Right, I saw that. Pretty smooth moves for a hunk of metal, I gotta admit.
It's more than just smooth moves, though. Think about what Optimus actually has to do to even attempt that. It's a whole chain of complicated actions.
Like what?
Well, first, it has to recognize what a glass even is.
Hmm.
Then, it's got to find its way through a room full of people, hopefully without knocking anyone over.
And then there's the whole pouring the drink part without, making a mess.
Exactly. And that's not even considering the robot has to understand what you're even asking it to do. Object recognition, navigation, manipulation, these are huge hurdles in the robotics world, even if they seem simple to us.
It does make you realize just how advanced these things have to be to do even basic tasks, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We take our own abilities for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, think about all the things that go into you just grabbing a cup of coffee.
Don't even get me started on mornings. But okay, I get it. These robots are doing more than just playing a mean game of robot bartender. But how does it actually work? What makes Optimus tick?
Well, it all starts with perception.
Like robot senses.
Exactly. Tesla's giving Optimus eyes in the form of cameras. Those cameras feed visual information to the robot's AI brain.
So no actual eyeballs, got it. But then what? How does it make sense of all that visual data?
That's where the AI magic comes in. They're using complex algorithms, most likely trained on a massive amount of data. Imagine showing Optimus thousands, maybe millions of images of glasses, drinks, people, and teaching it to recognize those objects in different situations.
Okay, so kind of like how we train a dog to fetch, but on a much grander, more technical scale. Got it.
Precisely. Except with robots and AI, we're talking about teaching machines to learn and adapt, not just respond to commands.
Speaking of teaching machines, let's talk about this price tag Musk keeps mentioning. Somewhere between 20 and 30 grand, that's like cheaper than some cars. Is that even realistic given all the tech packed into this thing?
It's definitely ambitious, no doubt about it. Building robots, especially ones this sophisticated, is not cheap. You've got materials, sensors, manufacturing costs, and don't even get me started on the research and development that goes into something like this.
Okay, so where does he get off saying it'll be that affordable? Is he just pulling numbers out of a hat?
Well, this is Tesla we're talking about. Remember, they've already got a pretty solid track record of bringing down costs with their electric vehicles.
Good point. They've definitely shaken things up in the auto industry.
Right. So they could be aiming to apply those same manufacturing smarts and economies of scale to Optimus.
Hmm.
If they can mass produce these things efficiently enough, it might not be totally out of the realm of possibility.
So you're saying Musk's whole Optimus is going to revolutionize the world claim hinges on making it both affordable and, actually functional on a massive scale.
That's a big part of it, yeah. But then again, he also said Optimus will eventually be able to do, and I quote, whatever you can think of.
Whatever we can think of. Huh. Okay, now that's just asking for trouble.
It's definitely a statement that raises more than a few eyebrows, and maybe even some red flags.
I mean, come on, whatever we can think of. That's a pretty bold statement, even for Elon Musk.
It is, and it brings up a whole other set of questions. Because even if Optimus could theoretically handle, say, my grocery shopping or fold my laundry, do we really want robots doing everything for us?
Yeah, it's kind of like be careful what you wish for, right? You might get that robot butler who can mix a perfect martini, but is that really what we should be focused on?
Well, and it's not even just about, like, robots taking over the world or whatever. It's about making sure they're being used responsibly, ethically. Like, remember how we were talking about Optimus navigating a crowded room?
To serve those drinks, yeah.
Right, but now imagine that environment is a busy street corner, and instead of holding a tray of drinks, it's, well, driving a car full of people.
Whoa, okay, I see where you're going with this. Suddenly the stakes are a lot higher than just a spilled cocktail, huh?
Exactly. And that's why this whole whatever you can think of statement is a little concerning. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of this cool new tech, but we also can't forget the potential downsides. Remember those sci-fi movies where the robots become self-aware and things go sideways?
Who could forget those? Though hopefully it won't come to that.
Hopefully not. But the point is, we need to be thinking about these implications now, not later. As robots become more integrated into our lives, we need to make sure they're programmed with the right safeguards, the right ethical considerations.
So we're not just teaching these robots how to do things, we're teaching them how to do things ethically, almost like raising a kid, in a way, but with way more coding and hopefully fewer temper tantrums.
Yeah, something like that. And it's not going to be easy, especially as these robots become more capable. Take that dog walking scenario you mentioned earlier.
Okay, yeah, what about it?
Imagine Optimus is walking your dog, and another dog approaches aggressively. Can Optimus recognize that situation? Can it make the right decision about how to react?
It makes you realize there's a big difference between a robot following a set of pre-programmed instructions in a controlled environment, like at that Tesla event, and navigating the chaos of the real world, right?
Exactly. The real world is full of unpredictable situations, social cues, ethical dilemmas. We can't program for every single possibility, but we need to make sure these robots have a strong ethical foundation to draw on as they encounter these complex situations.
It's almost like we're writing the rule book for a whole new type of intelligence, and each line of code could have real-world consequences.
Now, you might be thinking, this is all well and good, but isn't Optimus a long way off from walking my dog, let alone grappling with complex ethical dilemmas?
Honestly, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And you wouldn't be wrong. Optimus is still in its early stages of development. But here's the thing. There are a couple of things that make this more than just futuristic speculation.
Okay, I'm listening. What makes you think these ethical questions are so pressing right now?
Remember how we were talking about Tesla's expertise in AI and manufacturing? Well, they're applying those same principles to other projects too. In fact, the article mentions Musk also announced a robotaxi, a self-driving car slated for release in 2027.
Okay, and what does a robotaxi have to do with Optimus? They seem like pretty different things.
On the surface, yeah. But think about what they have in common. Both rely heavily on artificial intelligence, complex algorithms, the ability to make decisions in unpredictable environments, right?
I see what you mean. So while Optimus is getting all the attention now because, well, it's a humanoid robot, the robotaxi could be a sneak peek into how Tesla plans to bring this kind of AI into our daily lives even sooner than we think.
Exactly. And the same ethical considerations apply. Whether it's a robot serving us drinks or driving us around, it's going to need to navigate a world full of gray areas.
So we're not just talking about the future of robots, we're talking about the future of AI in general and how it's going to shape our lives in ways we can't even fully imagine yet.
Which is why it's so important to have these conversations now to make sure we're asking the right questions and setting the right guidelines before it's too late.
It's almost like we're standing on the edge of this whole new world, you know? Yeah. AI everywhere we look, robots doing who knows what. It's kind of exciting and kind of nerve-wracking at the same time.
Absolutely. It's a lot to take in. And that's why it's so important to be having these conversations, asking these tough questions. This isn't just about whether Tesla can pull this off. It's about how we shape this future with AI, what kind of world we want to create.
So where does that leave us? What's one thing our listeners should be thinking about, especially with all these Optimus headlines flying around?
Don't just buy into the hype. Pay attention to the details, you know?
Like what kind of details?
Well, like when you see Optimus moving around in those demos, don't just focus on what it's doing. Look closer at how it's doing it.
Okay, I'm with you. So look closer, but what are we looking for exactly?
Well, like, how smoothly is it moving? What kind of sensors is it using? What are its limitations? Really understanding the technology behind the headlines is key to separating the hype from the reality.
It's like we wouldn't watch a magic show and just blindly accept that the magician actually pulled a rabbit out of a hat, right?
Right. We'd want to know how the trick works, what's going on behind the scenes. We should be doing the same thing with the AI and robotics.
Ask questions, look for the details, and don't just take everything at face value.
Exactly. Because the future of AI isn't being decided in some lab somewhere. It's being shaped by all of us, by the conversations we're having right now.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of Tesla's Optimus robot. We've talked about its potential, its limitations, and the big, sometimes kind of scary questions it raises about the future of AI. It's a future full of possibilities.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And it's one that we're all going to be a part of. So until next time, keep asking those questions, keep learning, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.